and discussants, distinguished guests, distinguished scholars, participants in this conference, students, ladies and gentlemen. This is a unique conference, and I believe it's the first time that it is being held in an academic institution where a confluence of quantum physics and Buddhist Madhyamika philosophy is taking place for the first time. It's relevant that quantum physics be discussed because quantum mechanics has become very close to society. With the advent of nanomaterials, which I think is known to everybody, nanomaterials are today there in face creams, in dental implants, and it's part of our society. So quantum physics is important, and I'm really excited about this conference, which brings together philosophy and science. We have amongst us from India as well as from abroad people who are real experts in this subject. When you make a confluence of two apparently diverse thoughts, it's important to have experts from both these diverse thoughts, and by design or by accident, this has happened to this conference. So we have great experts in quantum mechanics, great experts who have dealt in their lives on the mathematical foundations of quantum mechanics. We have experts who have worked in the confluence of these two philosophies, and we have Buddhist scholars. With this introduction, I would like to draw your attention to these 8 mud tumblers. These are tumblers which are used in India to make, for example, yogurt in the villages. So if you turn it around, they're actually tumblers. So they make yogurt in these villages. These are also tumblers which in villages and towns, people keep water and let birds and small animals drink from this. So these tumblers actually represent life and life processes. Now, having turned it around like this, it also represents the Buddhist stupa, for example, the one in Sanchi and the one in Mohenjo-daro, which is on the western bank of the river Indus. So what my student friends have done is to actually draw out the 8 auspicious signs of Buddhism. So we have the precious umbrella, which is the representation of Buddha's image, the head. We have victory banner, representation of Buddha's image, the body. We have right coiled white conch, representation of Buddha's image, voice. We have auspicious drawing, which is the representation of Buddha's image, mind. We have golden fish, which is the representation of Buddha's image, eyes. And we have lotus flower, which is the representation of Buddha's image, tongue. And we have the vase of treasure or vase of treasure, as spoken in the United States, which is the representation of Buddha's image, neck. And we have the dharma wheel, which is the representation of Buddha's image, feet. So these have all been done by the students. And I think with those few words, I would like to apologize for the inconvenience that's being caused because of these lot of wires hanging around here. This was required because we wanted to transform a normal auditorium into one which will enable the crowd, the audience, to participate in this discussion. So as a result, this stage where experts will be speaking and discussing, the audience can also participate. So please excuse us for the inconveniences, and I wish your presence here and the conference the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the excellent introduction. And now I humbly request the Vice-Chancellor of JNU, Professor Sudhir Kumar Sopori, to deliver his welcome speech. The floor is yours, sir. As well as with regard to translation, please tune into 93 FM for English and 89.5 FM for Chinese, as well as 93 FM for Tibetan. Thank you.
His Holiness Dalai Lama, esteemed speakers and participants, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome all of you to Jawaharlal Nehru University and to this important meeting on quantum physics and Madhyamik philosophical view. We are in fact grateful to His Highness. He conceptualized this meeting and also decided to hold this meeting at this university. We're extremely thankful to you for this, having accepted to be here this morning. In fact, last year, His Holiness gave the Nehru Memorial Lecture at Jawaharlal Nehru University. And that we had to conduct outside because the crowd was so much. I think we had almost 2,000 to 3,000 people there. And after the end of the lecture, His Holiness told me that he would like to hold another meeting here on this specific topic, and therefore we got together and conceptualized this one. Now these two topics, Madhyamika philosophy and quantum physics, personally I'm ignorant on both these sides of this one. Being a biologist, working as a scientist, I have very little knowledge, and therefore I would be happy that after listening to the speakers, I get some idea into these views. Now, being a scientist, many of us are engaged in our own field of studies. Not only scientists, but also those working in the area of humanities and philosophies. One of the major questions which comes to our mind time and again is the nature and truth of life and nature and truth of the universe around us. Biologists are still struggling to even answer the basic question of the origin of life. We had Darwin propose his theory of evolution, how different species, be it plants or animals, which have come upon this planet. But to think of it, we still do not know how everything originated at the beginning. And that is a major question which all of us are facing. Sometimes, in one of the meetings where I was there, I had some interest in our own Kashmir philosophy. And somebody asked me that being a scientist, why are you talking about a philosophy or a religion on the other hand? How do you merge these two things together? The answer was, and this I had learned from my guru in Kashmir, and he said scientists and all those around here, they are looking at the creation around us. They are trying to understand the creation. But he was a saint there, Kashmir Shaivism, one of the philosophers there. He said, we look at the creator. So you look at the creation, we look at the creator who created this creation. So this is the dilemma on which we all have been worried about. And so each one of us have developed our own concepts, our own theories, our own philosophies to answer some of these basic fundamental questions in life. And one of the greatest theories which you're going to discuss today is, of course, Madhyamika, how it is going to explain some of the fundamentals of life processes. Madhyamika means basically the center. That's the meaning of it, center. Now, sometimes I wonder which center we are talking about. What is that center which one is looking at? In fact, in Kashmir Shaivism also we have the theory of centrism. And they are looking at like whether you can reach the center. Now we have to define what that center is. And they think that there can be many different centers where if you want to reach that center, you get into the vacuum. That's the where you reach. And from there, the consciousness arises, and then you can look at the world very differently. Now, what are those centers of centrism which we are talking about? And this in our philosophy, they basically see when you in the morning, for example, practice the inhaling and exhaling of breath, there is a point which comes when you have inhaled, then there is a stoppage there for millions of seconds. Some seconds are there, not a second, but maybe a millionth of a second, and then you exhale. Now that point which is between exhaling and inhaling, that is the center which you have to caught and get stuck in there. And these are the kinds of things they say that when you are stuck on that particular specific point, then you achieve what we call as the sadhana, or you achieve a higher state of consciousness. And once you achieve that state of consciousness or that state of that centrism, in fact, you get a feeling of, this is what Madhyamika probably calls about also the point of emptiness. So you feel that you have reached a point of emptiness, and there one realizes that from that point of emptiness, you actually can look at the infinity. So you're looking at emptiness to infinity, getting into the state of consciousness, and from there you get the thought processes which come up, the creation of thoughts and creation of the world around us. So these are the kind of different philosophies which people are talking about. And recently I was looking into one of the book, it's an art written by Robert Lenzer. This is called Biocentrism. We had been talking about the physical world, which then leads into our life processes. But this theory is a little different. He looks at biology as the central point, and rest of the things follows from that biology. So according to him, consciousness creates material universe, and they say intelligence existed prior to matter. Now this is a question of whether matter existed first and then came intelligence and consciousness, or according to him, they say that consciousness and intelligence existed even prior to the matter, and that really led to the creation of this matter. There can be many thoughts and different hypotheses, theories about these things. But today we are going to have some of the best minds which have come here to talk about quantum physics, Madhyamika, the philosophy, relationships, and trying to look at and answer the questions to basic fundamentals of life. While each one of us may be speaking, we are all, as an academicians, we are all bound by our boundaries. We look within a small time frame, we look within a small area of studies in which we have worked, and probably all those talks may be limited to in some extent. It's only personalities like His Holiness, which I feel have crossed all the boundaries of these disciplines. And this is what we call as the Brahm Vidya. Once you have Brahm Vidya, it doesn't matter whether you are a physicist, you are a chemist, you are any other area. It cuts across, and then you can look at, you get the all-pervading knowledge which you get, and you can present a universal and an understandable view of the world processes. So we are very grateful to you, So Holiness, that you agreed to come here. And he has agreed to be here for full 2 days. I think it's really great that he will be listening to all the speeches and finally getting some concluding remarks at the end of the speech. But before that, today, he will be giving his speech now, and we all look forward to that one. I'm just an in-between. I came here, but I think we are all looking forward to listen to His Holiness. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir, for the most wonderful address. And now, with much respect and humility, I request His Holiness to deliver his speech. Also, the radios are kept in the side of your seats. Thank you.
Respected elder brothers and sisters and rest of brothers and sisters. Now here, firstly, I consider myself one normal human being, not something abnormal. Isn't it? Some people say a little bit sort of strange things. Yeah. So therefore, I just describe a normal human being. Yeah. Then, from young age, I think 7, 8 years old, I start memorizing some of the Nalanda masters' writing. And then at the same time, now even you see, now age, now 81 years old now, see some of this Nalanda thought, every day is to reflect on these points. Very helpful to maintain peace of mind and also open mind. Because Nalanda tradition, according Buddha's own sort of advice to us, O my follower, bhikshus, scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. So that advice, I think really very helpful to open our mind and to fully utilize our intelligence. So very helpful. Over 80 years, this teaching really immense help. Meantime, even when I was quite young, 19, 20, around that, I already developed serious sort of interest about science. Firstly, mechanic thing. Then that
opened the door.
That is a lead, is the interest about science. So perhaps this is, may not be relevant. When I was in Peking, 1954, 55, you see, I have several meetings with Chairman Mao Zedong. One occasion, he told me, your mind is very scientific-minded. Very scientific-minded.
Scientific.
So then Mao Zedong expressed, religion is poison. So now here you see, the Mao Zedong, you see, at that time, I'm quite young, Mao Zedong, you see, notice my thinking is a more scientific sort of way, like that. So Chairman Mao Zedong felt it may be very suitable to say religion is poison. So then, after I come to India as a refugee, new opportunity meeting with people from different sort of walks of life, and including different spiritual traditions. And then I feel something very important thing is meeting with scientists, genuine scientists. So then I think the field, scientific field, cosmology, neurobiology, and physics, including quantum physics, then psychology. Now over 30 years, I have serious sort of dialogue with modern scientists, mainly American scientists and some European also. So the professor, right from the beginning, this is my colleagues, really wonderful. Now we're both getting older and older now. So as a result of 30 years of discussion with scientists, eventually it become immense mutual benefit to scientists about mind, about emotion, at very subtle level relation, mind and brain, these things. Then to us, the thorough, very detailed explanation about matters or all these things. As I mentioned earlier, cosmology, Big Bang, all these, really very helpful. One casualty is I am no longer believe Mount Meru. That's one casualty. I publicly mentioning. I think several 100,000 people still believe Mount Meru there. I mean, those mainly those, and some Hindus and also some is a Buddhist, I think. But from that viewpoint, I'm no longer Buddhist. But you see, the Four Noble Truths, and ultimately truth. If you analyze more, think more, it becomes clearer. So like that. So in any way, to us, you see, they're very helpful. Certain sort of deeper knowledge about matters and these things from scientists. To scientists, as I mentioned earlier, using these mental things. So sometimes I maybe too proud way, too presumptuous way. The Western psychology compare ancient Indian psychology. Western psychology looks like kindergarten level. Ancient Indian psychology, highly developed, wonderful. So all our knowledge comes from India. Before Buddhism in general, particularly Nalanda sort of tradition, reached Tibet, see, I think quite simple life. And also mental thinking also quite simple. But then Shanta Rakshita, invited by Tibetan emperor, 8th century. He was, I think at that time, 8th century, I think he was top scholar of Nalanda institution. So he introduced Buddhism according to Nalanda tradition. He himself, great philosopher and great logician. So the way he introduced Buddhism in Tibet, they combine philosophy and logic. That's, I think, very, very helpful. Very helpful. I think today, as a matter of fact, I think among different Buddhist countries, and I think several million Buddhists on this planet, I think it seems now quite clear. Only Tibetan, we kept Nalanda tradition more intently. Right? Intactly. Oh. So we really pay much attention, serious study, in order to become a normal scholar. You need at least 20 years rigorous study and root text learned by heart. Then each word explained according those authentic commentary about these root text. So many scholars, you see, even those who was the commentary wrote by Nalanda master, also you see, memorized. I'm not. Only those root text like that. So therefore, you see, they now, the close contact with scientists is really mutual benefit, immense benefit. Then I think maybe, around 15, 20 years ago, one occasion in Delhi, one sort of brief interfaith meeting. Interfaith or some intellectual sort of meeting. The late Rajaramana, physicist, his nickname, the India's Sakharov, isn't it? He helped a nuclear weapon, like that. So, in Delhi, one time, you see, he told me, the quantum physics in the world, something new. He found in Nagarjuna's writing the concept of quantum physics already there. As an Indian, he told me he feels very proud. Quantum physics to the world, something new. But this country, 2,000 years ago, already developed that concept. He was first opener of my mind about quantum physics like that, and some similarity, the Nagarjuna sort of, the philosophy. Then, I think a number of occasions, some sort of discussion with the quantum physicists, including others. So then, I think 1 year ago, in Calcutta University,
Presidency
University, they invited me. While the Vice Chancellor introduced some of the teachers, and one teacher, quantum physicist. And since I have some interest about quantum physics, so then I asked him, I would like to meet you more leisure time. Then we met. Then some discussion. Then, you see, it became clear, according to quantum physics, you see, nothing objectively exists. And then, because of that, when observer there, observed also there. When no longer observer,
you cannot talk about.
No observed. So this also, you see, brings the Chitta Mantra sort of view. You see, since using, you see, that reason, so long observer there, things are there. The observer no longer there, the thing not there. So then the Chitta Mantra, you see, use, you see, this fact or this reason, things, of course, Chitta Mantra also accept, you see, forms and sounds, these things, but these things not exist externally. All are some kind of mental projections, right? Like that. So designated. So here, you see, as a result of discussion with that quantum physicist, that professor, you see, I understand the one part Chitta Mantra's sort of view. External things does not exist externally. Then everything does not exist objectively. Now here, of course, mainly physical things, not the consciousness of these things. So therefore, that some similarities with Nagarjuna's philosophy, emptiness, or paticca everything interconnected or interrelated. So finally, designation. Nothing exists independently. So then I asked him at that moment, at that meeting, I told him, oh, I really want to have some kind of discussion or seminar, quantum physicist and Buddhist sort of scholars who knows about, you see, these Chitta Mantra's views and the Madhyamika view. He agreed. So, you see, the idea come that way. Now then later, I request your university, you are willing, you see, to organize and give this facility. So I very much appreciate. Thank you. So then also, I very much appreciate, you see, some Tibetan scholars and also some American and some other countries who also have genuine interest, and also I think I can say practitioner. Some of our friends, some from America, some Russia, like that. Then the Madhyamika philosophy or Chitta Mantra philosophy is ancient Indian sort of philosophy, not Tibetan. We simply learned from you. So these are your treasure. Now I think the last, perhaps I think a few centuries, our Indian gurus not much pay attention about these things. So this is actually your own treasure, but you feel these treasure, oh, nice, put in museum. Not necessarily be living there, like that. Now you see time changing. Say, 80-year-old person, or my life, you see, saw the early part, people talk much about material value. And with that, knowledge of science also, you see, used for economy, or other things. Later part of 20th century, among the scientists and also medical scientists, you see, they begin to feel peace of mind is very essential for health, good health. And also then more and more intellectual thinking, the thinking way, and including scientists, now feel much problem which we are facing today, ultimately related with mind, emotion. Even these religions, actually a source of compassion. All major religious traditions, their main teaching, main message is practice of love. Through centuries, these different religious traditions really provide us the awareness, the importance of love, sense of brotherhood, sisterhood, and serving others. Now, due to some other factor, these sort of factor, these source, also now dividing people, and worst case, killing in the name of faith. So this problem cannot solve by technology or money. So certainly will not solve by force. Because you see, these problems first start here. Anger, hatred. That also, you see, very much mixed with fear, distrust, then frustration, then anger. So now, many scientists, many educationists, you see, really now showing seriously about how to deal about our emotion. We are not talking about next life, or heaven, or hell. We are talking this very life. So all these problems, most of these problems which we are facing is essentially our own creation, man-made problem. So when I use the word man-made, ladies, what do you feel? Of course, when I say humanity, just a man, okay. But I think, as a matter of fact, I think most sort of troublemaker are, I think, mostly male. In the past, I think of the past several centuries, usually we call hero, or war hero. Hero is, in a sense, murderer, organized. One individual kill one person, murder, very bad. One human being killed 1,000, several thousand, 100,000. We call hero. Great. Most of these heroes are male. Maybe some exception. Otherwise, most of these killers are male. Now, again, according to scientists, they find female have more sort of sensitive about others' pain. I'm not going to explain in detail. So therefore, you see, in any way, you see, all these trouble we created. So sometimes I jokingly used to telling people, expressing, when we face some problem, war, something, we pray to God or Buddha. If we have opportunity meeting Buddha or God, and request them, please bring peace. I think God or Buddha say, violence, I not created, you created. So you see, since this problem you started, when I kindly, graciously give you free will, you utilize wrong way. So all this killing, all these problems, you created. So you have the responsibility to solve. Create problems by you and ask me some answer. Nonsense. Isn't it? So therefore, you see, now time come. We human beings, 7 billion human beings, it's our responsibility to build happy world, ultimately compassionate world, not angry world. If those people who believe Creator, then nobody say Creator is full of anger. Nobody say that. Creator is full of compassion, infinite love. So the best way to worship, to offer God or Buddha is we carry our activities more peaceful way, more compassionate way. That's the best way to offer, to serve, to offer, to worship, like that. So now here, if we, you see, say this with certain quotation, then now today, out of 7 billion, over 1 billion non-believer, and among 6 billion believer, some not very serious. Isn't it? So therefore, now we need a certain sort of method, you see, to bring conviction in 7 billion human beings' mind. The compassionate mind is immense benefit to yourself, including your health, and to create happy, harmonious family, harmonious, happy society, happy community, finally, harmonious humanity, happy humanity. So, harmonious, happy humanity not come from sky, cannot create by government, but we individual. We should create, firstly, peace, one individual's mind. Then creates that share with your family member. And then one family, 10 family, 100 family, that way, that's the way to change the atmosphere of the community. So religion, of course, through centuries, really worked hard, or really made tremendous contribution, but not adequate. So we need secular way to promote these inner value for our own interest and interest for the world, humanity. And that also related with environment issue. So therefore, in order to promote, in order to create a happy humanity, happy world, peaceful world, I think, as I mentioned earlier, 20th century, you see people, and early part of 20th century, I think people, you see really, the violence, war is something normal way in order to protect yourself, in order to win yourself. But now, later part, now that changed, still changing. So therefore, now, you see, I think the beginning of this 21st century, there's a new sort of tendencies where, new way of thinking, inner peace, and dealing with our emotion, these are something important. So scientific research, very, very helpful. And our common experience and common sense and scientific findings, very, very helpful to educate people. Warm-heartedness is the key factor for happy life, happy family, happy community, finally, happy humanity. So, you see, this Kazoda, with this view, you see, now here, I think two ways. One reason, my series of Kazoda discussion with a scientist is simply expand the knowledge, right? Within the science. Up to now, I think up to the early part, or in the classical way, science only thinking matters. Not much talk about mind, emotion. Real troublemaker is not brain, but emotion. Still, the emotion or mind, still a little bit mysterious thing, isn't it? Now scientists, some top scientists, now really showing interest, see, about mind, about emotion, and how to tackle. So this simply, you see, because of the expansionary field of science. That is the one thing, one purpose. Another purpose, now here I think our sort of the meeting or dialogue, Buddhist Madhyamika philosophy mainly, and quantum physics is simply, you see, one way, simply the academic level. Then another purpose, in order to, in order the scientist become peaceful scientist, not angry scientist. You see, these knowledge helpful in order to bring inner peace. Once inner peace there, then the face also become much more pleasure, much more pleasant, pleasant sort of face. I think automatically smile. I think we should precisely smile. There are different smiles: artificial smile, genuine smile, negative smile also there, diplomatic smile. So I think genuine smile, which I think dogs and cats, some extent, you see, they appreciate, they know artificial smile or genuine smile. So genuine smile is the reflection of inner peace, love, compassion, trust. So I think now the scientists also, number of my friend, top scientists, well-known scientists, now they themselves, you see, since, you see, more knowledge about system of emotion. You see, they themselves used to find much more inner peace. So I think these detailed thing, I think the scientist, author, you see, may tell you. So two purpose. One, simply sort of expand our knowledge. And the second, you see, these give us views are very important. Emotion, in order to tackle emotion, not by another emotion, but mainly awareness. Ultimately, our warm-heartedness and sharp mind, intelligence combined, then, you see, we can make greater contribution for happy humanity. Just warm-heartedness itself, alone, not much. Usually, you see, we have some kind of patience.
Giving analogies and examples.
Intelligence like I. As a warm-heartedness, you see, is real sort of ultimate source of strength. But without I, you cannot do much. So combine warm-heartedness and this marvelous human intelligence combined. Then we can see, we can tell, we can share other people. Everybody wants a happy life. So then, the ultimate source of happy life, not money, not power, not existing modern education, but more deeper, more holistic. It is something important. So main purpose of our meeting is to see, because of the raise awareness about these matters. So university really, you see this because of the field where human intelligence, human mind further develop. So university, very, very important. If university creates more hatred, it's awful. University creates more sense of community and thinking, 21st century, 22nd century, then wonderful. Okay. Thank you. That's all. I want my selfish thing. I want to tell you, afternoon session, I think around 3, I want to seek permission from you. So perhaps, you see, afternoon 1 tea break, then I will leave. Then you, if possible, another 1 hour or 1.5 hour further discussion. I feel that. So because you see, now, quite old person, you see, my daily life start from 2:30 or 3. This morning, 2, I get up. And my sort of prayer, every day, each day, about 5 hours. So including thinking, quantum physics, something similar quantum physics. There's nothing there. Self-centered attitude. You see, entirely based on independent feeling of life, feeling of independent self. So, by quantum physics, Madhyamika philosophy, thinking that, then really shaking very basis of our destructive emotion. All destructive emotion, you see, entirely based on certain sort of, because of the mental attitude, grasping, independent existence. So that's the basis of the creation of Kasoda, Shimijinado.
Different wrong ways of thinking.
So that another scientist, one American scientist, Aaron Beck, he told me, very old person, a lot of experience. So he told me, when we develop anger, the object which feel angry, So that object appears very, very negative. But actually, 90% of that negativeness is mental projection because of wrong view, grasping independent existence. So once you develop deeper awareness, nothing independently exists. That immense help. My own experience, very, very helpful. Very helpful. So whether Buddhist or non-Buddhist, you see, these theory, very important, very useful. Make your mind more neutral. And then one beautiful thing is, this sort of understanding about reality, nothing exists independently. You see, that understanding, very helpful for positive emotion, such as karuna, maitri, like that. Because these not depend on wrong view. Anger, attachment, jealousy, all these destructive emotion based on wrong view. So my daily sort of meditation, you see, always thinking these things, very, very helpful. So my point is, you see, I get up usually, you see, very early. So late afternoon, combined with age, and almost dead, half dead. So around 3, give me permission, leave. And then tomorrow morning, meeting, more fresh. Okay. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you so much, Your Holiness, for your most enlightening address, which as always is deeply profound and remains inspirational to the whole world. Now I humbly request the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Sopori, and the Rector, Professor Sen, to take the seats in the front row so that we can begin with the first session. Thank you, sir.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
With this, we have come to an end to the opening ceremony, and we will start with the first session of the day, for which I would humbly request the first speaker, Professor Michel Bidbeau, Professor at CNRS, France, who will speak on the topic Quantum Physics, Interdependence, No-View Stance, and the chair of this session, Professor N. Mukunda, from the Center for Theoretical Physics, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. I request both of them to come up on the stage and initiate the session.
Introducing the speaker. I think you can put full screen. Yes. Okay, yeah. So will it appear here or? Yeah.